call the October meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Trustee Bankowski? Here. Trustee Dilbert?
Here.
Trustee Guerrero? Here. Trustee Nona?
Here.
Trustee Bercoli?
Here.
Trustee Hashem? Here. President Meissen?
Here.
Treasurer Simonetti. Did he tell you to do this one?
No.
Clerk would sit this present.
Yeah. We haven't heard anything from Tim about not being here today.
He's on vacation, what the heck? He said he's been around for 2 weeks, I'm not sure.
Yeah, all right, thank you. All right, approval of the agenda. I do have one topic to add. Item number J under new business. Lennox resident request for funeral pricing, we'll call it.
For funeral what?
Funeral plot pricing.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as presented with the addition of J.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we approve of the agenda with the addition of J. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Public comments on the agenda.
Good evening, Matthew Knight, 58230 Pembroke. I just wanted to make a quick statement regarding the agenda item A, the waiver request. I'm addressing you this evening to express my opposition to the more frequent requests for waivers of engineering requirements outlined in the village ordinances. These ordinances exist to ensure the development within the village aligns with established engineering standards. I am not opposed to all waivers when a proposed exception provides a direct and measurable benefit to the village. I fully support the council's consideration of such requests. However, granting waivers merely for the convenience or cost savings of a developer undermines the purpose of such ordinances. The consistent application of our engineering requirements also promotes fairness among property owners and developers. Every project should be held to the same objective standards. Granting waivers too freely creates an uneven playing field and only invites future requests, potentially weakening the village's ability to enforce its own ordinances. I fully urge council to uphold the integrity of the village's engineering standards. Waivers should remain an exceptional remedy, granted only when the applicant can clearly demonstrate that the issuance serves the public good. By maintaining this high standard, the village will continue to foster responsible development and preserve the quality of life that residents value. Thank you.
Any other public comment on agenda items? All right, seeing none. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting minutes from September 9th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and doubly supported that we approve the meeting minutes from September 9th, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda.
I'll move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we accept the consent agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Treasurer's report. We have approval of the October 2025 payroll in the amount of $100,140.76, and bills to be paid for October 2025 in the amount of $945,038.16 for a total of $1,045,178.90. And I do know there was a question that was given to me prior to the meeting by Trustee Nona regarding the total amount, because the
It's off 2 cents.
Yeah, it looks like it's off by 2 cents. 0.38.
I copy and paste.
So it should be 92 cents. It's 2 cents short.
I will make a motion to approve the October 2025 payroll of $100,140.76 and bills to be paid for October 2025 of $945,000, $945,038.16 for a total of $1,045,178.92.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we pay our bills in the grand total of $1,045,178.92. Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Portola?
Yes.
Trustee Dover?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes.
I'll move to receive and file the treasurer's report.
Support.
I haven't presented the treasurer's report. It has been moved and filed. It has been moved and filed that we receive the treasurer's report, which states the total village cash assets of $8,361,686.23.
It's like the third time I've done that.
Yeah, it's been moved and supported that we receive and file a report. Any questions on the motion? Roll call, please. Or all in favor, isn't it? All in favor, man, it totally threw me off. All opposed. Motion carries. Communications and committee reports. Clerk, what's that?
Agenda items for the November 11th meeting are due by November 1st, please.
Thank you. Trustee Dover, Planning Commission update.
The planning commission met last week, and we had a few things on the agenda. What I did notice that quite a few of our applicants are coming in unprepared. They're not responding to our professionals when they send out their findings. They're coming back in like, oh, I didn't know. Well, so we just send them right back out, because we can't address site plans and whatnot when they haven't answered all the questions or at least satisfied the planner and the engineer. With that being said, Maritime was there, and I think later on tonight we're going to address, I think it's four requests for waivers. But that's about all I have. Like I said, there's 2 or 3 that are out there. Wise Guys, Macomb Automotive, they have incomplete applications.
One thing that we also have committed to is that moving forward, when the planning agenda goes out and is posted to our website, that building department is going to notify, which gives them a little bit more notice or heads up. We recognize that they need a reminder, or seems like they need a reminder. Parks and Rec update, Trustee Guerrero.
Yes, so we just finalized some 2026 events, just a discussion on that. We have right now going the Scarecrow contest for businesses and the house decorating. That's up and running, and then an announcement for the winners will be trunk or treat on the 25th. Saturday, right? The 25th? Yeah, I think it's Saturday. Yeah. Yeah, so get your house decorated and join the contest.
Thank you. Unfinished business, item number A, residential rental inspection ordinance. So this ordinance was posted for the past month for public review since the September meeting. I don't believe we've had any feedback that we've received on the ordinance. Nothing from you? Okay. So Is there any discussion that you would like to have on this rental property ordinance? Otherwise, a motion is in order.
What would be the number?
408.
I'll make a motion, I can have a question. Here. I'll make a motion that we adopt ordinance 4-08, which is a residential rental inspection ordinance.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we adopt ordinance 408, the residential rental inspection ordinance, and discussion on the motion.
I just have a comment that you have a big job ahead of you.
Yeah, this is definitely going down a path that I think is good for the residents. You know, once we get this up and running and established, it lets folks who are renting in New Haven know that if they're coming into New Haven, that they're going to have there's a level of expectation for the rental properties to be maintained and in working order. So I think this is going to be a big undertaking for the inspectors to get set up and running, but I also have a feeling that we're probably going to have a lot of renters who will be reaching out, offering up information on their own rentals that they're in, wanting to get them inspected. Any other discussion on the motion?
What about the mobile home communities?
Chief Steer, do you want to speak on that?
We haven't looked into that yet.
Okay.
I think Meadow Creek is getting out of the rental business.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about the Riverbrook yet. Probably something we won't take care of in the first year,
Okay.
because we'll have a lot to do.
Right.
So maybe a year or two, we'll look into that. It's kind of our goal,
Okay.
just to manage our expectations. But we will look into that.
Okay.
I think there's also some concerns about, you know, depending on the type of housing, if there's some sort of overarching state or federal organization, you know, like whether or not we have the authority to do the inspections. So not necessarily for the mobile or the manufactured community, but that, you know, that would include like the planning commission type properties.
Right.
Around planning housing commission.
I know
type
what you meant.
properties, yeah. Any other discussion on the motion? And we did have motion and support, correct?
Yes.
All right. Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Dona?
Yes.
Trustee Pacoli?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem? Yes. President Mason?
Yes. Item number B, marijuana ordinance. So again, this was posted publicly for public review over the past month since the September meeting. I did have one resident who was concerned about you know, the type of business that could be going in that area because they live across the street on the Lennox Township side. You know, I did explain to them that, you know, this is zoned heavy industrial, so, you know, if not a marijuana facility, it eventually could be a stamping facility where they could hear the pounding of, you know, heavy machinery all day. So unfortunately, you know, there is a give and take here that they're living across the street from heavy industrially zoned property. Other than that, I didn't have any feedback on the ordinance. Clerk Whitsett, did you receive any?
No, I did not.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on the motion or feedback from any of you? I know that, you know, we've had it posted if you had a chance to review it or have any questions.
Will this be 409?
Yes, it would.
Thank you.
One other statement I will make is, I don't know if you've seen the news. You know, I tell everybody I don't pay attention to the national news and all that, but I know the state budget, they passed the increase on marijuana, an additional, I think it was 24%. So I don't know how much we'll see from this ordinance passing, but yeah. otherwise a motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to accept and pass the marijuana ordinance as presented, number 4-09.
It's been moved and supported that we pass ordinance 409, adult use recreational marijuana facilities licensing ordinance. Any further discussion on the motion? All right, seeing none, roll call please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Gashel? Yes. Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Bertoli?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
And President Eisen.
Yes. Item number C, funeral home and Seifert home updates. We did have, the Seifert home was inspected by our building inspector. He did an exterior inspection of the building, just walking around the property. He noted that there were several areas of the foundation that are severely deteriorating and the house is not secure. He also pointed out that there were several open windows and doors that, pose several types of dangers to the community. I have gotten complaints as recently as this past weekend of people who live around the home, the Seifert home specifically, that they're worried about the windows being open. They're seeing teenagers going into the building and having parties or whatever. Probably adds to the rumor of the building being haunted that I've heard over the years. But I think, so our inspector is unfortunately recommending condemnation proceedings. I guess I'm asking what the will of council is here. I'm really disappointed in the thought of having to condemn and bulldoze Seifert. I don't know if it's salvageable, and until we really get a thorough inspection, but that might be, from what I understand, Attorney Addis, would the village be able to take ownership of the property to then have or would it be a court-ordered
We would have
thorough inspection?
Yeah, we would have to start litigation, get court orders, which we've done in the past, I believe on the funeral home. It is a process. Judges aren't real keen about bulldozing or taking away people's properties without having due process and all of that good stuff. So I will tell you that it might be something that takes a minute to get done. It's not just going to be quick and easy. So I guess keep that in mind with regard to how you want to move forward. Given all the circumstances, it's going to take a little bit. We can do some things in the meantime, but as far as litigation goes, it's tough to.
So for both of these properties, we do have already the active litigation on them. We do have the court orders that gave us the authority to, I guess,
Correct.
do some sort of action. So
Correct.
Does that speed up the process at all?
It will speed it up a little bit. Again, we just have to get that order from the judge that says that we can go ahead and do it, and any costs can be put on the tax rolls, that kind of thing. So, and I think we have enough there that we can start. It's not gonna take as long, given where we're at in the process, but it is sometimes a little tough to get a judge to sign an order to that effect.
Yeah, because I guess my concern is that we sent the letters. I mean, we've been sending them letters.
Yeah.
We had the September 19th, letting them know. But we would take action if they didn't start rectifying, and they haven't. Can we, and I know from what I understand from our building department and code enforcement, there are concerns about, especially with the Seifert home, with the windows being open, if somebody's going in there and then lighting fires, trying to stay warm through the winter, and then the property burning down. So we have a health and safety concern as well. Chief Steer?
With the permission of the board, we can hire a board-up company, take care of that window, take care of that door, put our own padlock on it, or if we know that padlock is broken, maybe we'll know if somebody's inside of there. But I don't know legally, right, if we can have a man's property to board up that window, board up that door, at the will of your you know, with the board, we can start on that process tomorrow if need be.
Would we have that legal authority to order that the building be boarded up?
Yes, for health and safety, absolutely. There wouldn't be a problem with that.
Okay. So I guess I'm asking for a motion of the board for permission to move forward with boarding up the Seaford home. And I believe it would be for proceeding with condemnation.
That's the opinion of the building inspector.
Do you want to do the same for the funeral home?
Yeah, so the funeral home, that one's a similar situation. There is somebody that is living in the funeral home. But again, as far as we know, there's no running water, right? There's no electricity hookup, I believe.
Right.
And then there's no gas. So again, how they're staying warm in the winter is going to be a concern. And from what we understand, the interior is not navigable. Is that a word? It's very jam-packed. So should there be a fire, it's not a situation that our fire department would be entering the building.
So you'd be looking for 2 motions, one for each property to take action individually?
Yeah, hire a board-up company and then proceed with condemnation, I guess.
Well, if there's somebody living in the funeral home that.
Well, right, they gotta be able to-
require, I assume, a bailiff of some sort to remove that person.
You know, we can't just.
Right, yeah, we can't board it up right in there.
It'll probably require some sort of hazmat response as well, because again, it is not safe on the inside of the building. So whatever bailiff or if the sheriff's department can take care of that, right, we would probably have to escort, some sort of suit in order to move through that.
Yeah. So let's focus on the funeral home since that's what we're talking about right now. So I guess then the motion would be that we need to move, the motion is proceeding with condemnation, working with our attorneys to evict the current tenant and board up the property in the meantime so that it's safe.
At least if we can board it up before the winter, and the board can make their decision on condemnation thereafter, but we would really like to get that boarded up before the winter season ends. I mean, there's no roof on it, it's.
Right. Yeah, the back of the property, I was noticing quite, I was really taking a look at it during Haven Place's fundraiser on Saturday, and the back of the roof is completely wide open. You can see the trusses. And the back doesn't have, so the front half of the building has tarp over the roof. The back half doesn't have anything. It's just like tar paper or whatever. So really unfortunate.
Yeah, I would make a motion regarding the Seaford house. I'm sorry, the funeral home, I apologize, I was reading when I shouldn't have been. To move forward with condemnation, eviction, and securing the property.
Do we have a support?
Support.
We have a motion to proceed with condemnation activity, eviction, and securing the property. Any further discussion on this motion specifically for the funeral home?
And will the owner be notified of these items that are going to happen?
Yeah, we have to give them notice.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. That's my
Yeah, I'm assuming that we would probably even just post it right on the
Yeah.
door as well.
And once we get the order, we probably post on the door.
Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Gronkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Pepoli?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. So then the next one would be for the Seaford home. And now this one, I know we have some structural issues. I guess, I don't know, I'm not fully convinced that it's at the state of bulldozing. I don't know about anybody else. I mean, the pictures have, I included the pictures. I don't know. I mean, would somebody be able to invest?
I don't think anybody would invest that amount of money that needs to be invested in that.
That is my concern. I don't want us to be stuck with a property.
That foundation is bad. There's no doubt about it.
If we were to seize the property for like, because of the condemnation, or because of the state of the building, if we later decide that it is beyond fixable, we can't find a buyer, we need to bulldoze the building, would we still be able to put that on the previous owner somehow?
I would have to look and see. I mean, again, it would be something that we'd have to get into a court order regarding. Off the top of my head, I would think so, but I'd have to look into it a little bit to make sure.
So no, it wouldn't be as easy as just putting it on the tax roll.
Right.
Once we take ownership.
Once we take ownership, that would be the issue,
Yeah.
that we would have to see if we could still do that.
So we want a motion for now, pretty much just to board it out for safety.
I don't know, I mean, does anybody feel like it is savable, or are we all,
Until you get inside, you won't know.
right, that's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
So maybe a motion for court order interior inspection,
Yes.
Okay.
plus boarding up for safety?
And secure, okay.
And are we just boarding up the broken window, or are we gonna board up the whole first floor?
Yeah.
Right, that would be, so the front door, there is a rear door. The window is broken out on the front. Now, if there's people, and I didn't know there was kids running it, right, do we have the authority to clear that as well? Right, if there's people in that one, it's gonna be a similar situation to the funeral home. Do we have the ability to, the sheriff department, walk through that and kick anybody out if there is somebody in there? I just want to be clear, so when we go do this, we're doing it, properly.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, at this point, our understanding is that this is a vacant home, so I mean,
Right.
if we have the board up company there, we should be able to send the sheriff through just to confirm what is inside, right?
Yeah, as far as health and safety, I mean, I think the funeral home, we know that someone is living there, so that's a little different. If we just have people going in and out, I think that, you know, there's no knowledge that we know of that anyone's living there. So I think, you know, take an inspection, make sure it's okay, have someone walk through, and then we're good. If we knew someone was living there, that would be different, like the funeral home, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, and so to Trustee Dilbert's point, I think probably would be good that we board up the entire first floor.
Yeah, just do the whole first floor, because if we just board up the broken window, it's gonna break down.
Right, right. All right, so then the motion for the Seaford would be the interior inspection, court-ordered interior inspection to see if the building is at all savable, and then securing for health and safety purposes. Full first floor.
I'll make a motion regarding the Seifert home that we move forward to obtain an interior inspection and secure the house, the whole first floor.
It's been moved and supported that we take these actions to have the interior inspected and then also board up the first floor. Any further discussion on this motion?
I just have a comment. It's honorable of you that you don't want to knock down a building that could be very meaningful to a lot of people, but at the same time, the village needs to set a standard and stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely. It just, it pains me that both of these buildings are early 1900s from what I saw on BSNA. And to be tearing down village history just is not, you know, nobody wants to do that, obviously. But one of the residents who has reached out to me recently was actually the previous owner, who was quite saddened that the building has been decaying since then. Yes, sir.
Just allow me to add that unfortunately, both of these buildings are owned by the same human.
Yes, this is true. And the village has even had actual contact, phone contact with this individual and told them, we're taking this seriously, you gotta do something. And it's been months and nothing has changed. So unfortunately, the individual is well aware. In that case, motion and supported. We have roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Hatchell?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Polly?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
President Lyson?
Yes. All right, that takes us into new business. We have item number A, maritime storage, waiver request. So, yes, if you would like to, Becky, would you like to come up?
Good evening. My name is Becky Klein. I'm with PEA Group, 58105 Van Dyke, Washington Township. Here this evening to represent David Alderman, who's the owner of the property for maritime storage and requesting these waivers. I'd like to start by just clarifying a couple things. The reason that we're involved in this process is not because we are constructing anything new on the property. This property has operated as various types of outdoor storage since the old foundry shut down back in the 80s. Mr. Alderman is the latest owner and has continued to operate the property for, I think, 4 or 5 years at this point. He recently completed a purchase of the property through a land contract process, got his warranty deed, and when that came, triggered a code review by the village. So in order to get the certificate of occupancy, he needs to continue operating his business. We're going through this process of attempting to get site plan approval, and in order to do that, we need a few waivers. So in July, I filed a letter requesting 4 waivers from the village, and I would actually like to remove one of those items. We've been negotiating back and forth, working with the engineer, the fire department, and the village to try to come up with compromises that everybody can live with. And Mr. Alderman is planning to reconstruct the apron approach to the property. So we'll take that out, we'll reconstruct it with heavy-duty concrete and reconstruct the walkway, the sidewalk that crosses it as well. So item 3 would be removed from this request. So what we are requesting is a relief from the requirement that all vehicular use areas are required to be paved with asphalt or concrete. This is a heavy-duty storage yard, and besides bringing in very large tractors and trailers, not only for Mr. Alderman's property, but also for Shoreline Steel, which shares an easement for access through that drive. They also use a lot of tracked equipment back there. And if anybody knows anything about backhoes and bulldozers and cranes, that track will destroy asphalt or concrete pretty quickly. So in almost every case, any facility that uses those things with any regularity maintains usually an aggregate pavement on the property, and that is what this site has, is a gravel pavement. So we're really just requesting a waiver in order to continue operating the way that we have operated. Second item goes along with the first, and we're requesting a waiver to provide curb and gutters for the drive areas. If we're not installing asphalt or concrete, then having a curb and gutter system is meaningless. And then finally, we're requesting a relief from the requirement to basically install a new storm collection and contention system. Again, this site is gravel, which, similar to grass, is actually fairly impervious, and when rain falls on it, it soaks in fairly well. So, this site has drained the way it is currently draining for the last 30 years. Everything seems to be working back there. We're right adjacent to a county drain and a bunch of wetlands. Honestly, paving it and putting in a detention system would take it further from the natural hydrology pattern that is the ultimate goal, typically, of doing stormwater design. You want to mimic the natural hydrology of the site. We have a site that is pretty close to operating in a natural state right now, and I believe that putting in a storm system and a detention system would actually make it hydraulically worse. So we're requesting relief from that item as well. I'd be happy to answer any questions that the trustees have, and Mr. Alderman is here as well in case there's something that I can't answer.
I have a question. You talked about this equipment that's on the property. So but I don't believe they're actually doing work on the property with that equipment. Is that correct?
That's correct. Mr. Alderman operates various marinas.
So that equipment, the track piece you talk about, is transported on a trailer of some sort?
Right, but if he has to move pieces in and out of his yard, you take the tracked vehicle off the trailer, move the equipment around with the tracked vehicle. And then, you know, things come in, things leave.
Anybody else have any questions?
What is the specific request for item number 1 for the paving? Is that for a parking lot? Or just the drive?
The way, for both. So we're looking at replacing the driveway where it intersects with Main Street, and then the drive all the way back, and then the circulation and storage area, everything would be gravel as it is currently. And that's the same kind of surface that you have with the property next door, Shoreline Steel.
So Matt, can you pull up the Google Maps Street View? So the applicant is talking about with redesigning the apron and the walkway, the sidewalk, which would help with the pooling there. I know there was some concerns about, is it just moving the pooling back away? I mean, moving it away from the street is good, but would it just move it to then where the gravel begins, right behind the sidewalk?
So I think that's number 3 that she just removed. The paved driveway approach that he's showing right now is number 3. Trustee Percoli was asking about the parking area.
Item 1.
Item 1.
Right, so let me rephrase it. So they are agreeing to doing the paved driveway approach and all that, but what I'm saying is that my concern is that once they do that paved driveway and the walkway, then the drainage issue that we have with the pooling and the puddling of water, it is moving away from the street, which is good. But it would be then just pushing it to where the gravel begins behind the sidewalk, where it would just then all be a muddy mess.
I brought that up because my concern is we're trying to enforce paving parking for other businesses too currently. So it is.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a compromise of like, you know, and I guess, Sir Matt, are you able to do the satellite view instead of the street view? Sorry to make you be changing all these different views. So the property, you know, in the back it opens up to be the wide storage area with the gravel.
Right.
There is the long drive from Main Street to where it opens up in the back. You know, my personal preference, me speaking for myself, would be just, you know, if there could be some sort of length that could be paved until it gets closer to the back. You know, if the paving could be to, you know, like where the Shoreline Steel building is, or where you have.
To the gate.
Yeah, I think there's a gate there that exists. If it could be paved to the gate, and then behind the gate it could be gravel.
Yeah. I do have something here that I had not had time to send out formally to the village. We've been working over the last couple of days coordinating with the fire department. And Mr. Alderman did do some real improvements to the property earlier this summer and went out and repaved most of the aggregate road and regraded it, widened it so that fire trucks could get in and out of there. And Josh, who's one of the inspectors, is verbally happy with it. We're still waiting for a letter of approval. And so I have a few prints. I don't have enough in my hands for everybody to get one. But I have some photos in here that show the amount of improvements. And there is an existing gateway, a fence and gate that's actually fairly close to the main roadway. And the access road widens out, and there's a right turn lane as well as a left turn lane there at the intersection. One of the discussions we were having was maybe if we concreted that last section from the gate to the street, that would provide a clean apron, would help keep dust and debris from going out onto Main Street, and maybe that would be a compromise. But I have a couple of these if you guys want to pass them around. These couple of pictures here show what was done up at the gate, and the gate is basically right here.
And just to reiterate, while the pictures are coming around, you know, the three waivers that are being requested, the parking
This is the
area.
gate right here. This is the new aggregate that was placed in. What we're talking about is maybe paving from here to here, along with the Union apron.
So the three waivers are closely connected because the parking area, the curbing and gutters, that's all intertwined, right?
As well as replacing the apron on the right away.
I don't have.
So that access road is not for the public, right? I'm looking at another entryway further to the southeast. Oh, that's not yours?
No, this is the only driveway that Mr. Alderman has to access his property. Shoreline Steel has two accesses, one that they own, and then they share an easement over this access.
And one thing that I will say to the credit of the applicant is that this is defined as heavy industrial. You know, that may be something to take into consideration, that we can come up with a compromise. What are your guys' thoughts?
I think if that was should be paved so that that keeps that and kind of gets gravel, that's my opinion.
The only,
So if it's gated, it's not public access, then?
No, it's not, but I guess the only problem with that whole approach is shared by them and Shoreline.
So is that approach, is that an easement or is that owned by?
That's an easement.
It's an easement.
Excuse me. Can I say something? Sure. I respect everything you guys, whatever conclusion you come to, but Shoreline Steel's been using that access. I mean, they have 100-ton trucks coming in there 10 times a day. They're using that constantly, every day, that whole entrance. And I use it 5 times a month. You know what I mean? And I do unload and load heavy equipment out there on this side of the fence, on the Shoreline Steel side, I'm sorry, between Main Street and the fence. We unload and load heavy equipment in there. And the concrete, like she said, it's just gonna get tore up. I mean, we don't have a problem putting in the approach and maybe putting a drain behind it, you know, so any water that runs or mud will get caught in there, we'll not go back out on the street, and we'll have to regularly clean that out. But I'm just trying to keep it to a minimum because I'm not a rich builder. I know money's not an issue with you guys. I mean, I know it's not an excuse.
Not an excuse.
But like I said, they have 100-ton trucks coming in there a lot, and it's well used by them. It seems like I'm paying to pay the bill. So I just wanted to say that.
I guess my question is, I want to understand the use of this easement. Should the easement be used in the capacity it is right now? Should the easement be used in the capacity that it is right now, period, by either company?
Well, it's
So that's why they're standards. So
It's owned heavy industrial.
that easement you're talking is that narrow strip from Main Street all the way to the property. For us, that's a driveway. It's not a parking. So the village ordinance is very clear, all driveways need to be paved.
Okay, good. Is that the only way Shoreline can access their property?
Yes.
I'm not familiar with the property, that's why I'm asking, okay.
Correct.
But you have another access to.
No, that's
No.
Sorry, it's the only access Mr. Alderman has to his property.
Shoreline.
Shoreline Steel has both this easement that they have on his property, as well as their own entry onto Main Street.
right.
So can you prevent Shoreline from using
No.
that?
No, it was written up from the previous owners back in 1930 with the easement, correct? You read it?
It was not 1930, but yeah, the previous owners put that into place, I think, when they split the property up. And unless they were voluntarily willing to sign that easement off, it has to remain.
So right now, the reconstruction for the approach on Main Street would just be just standard apron, which is what, 8 inches of concrete or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And
9
then
inches. Yeah.
the sidewalk, which would of course have to be something
That would be a heavy-duty concrete section also because you're driving trucks over it.
And then once we get past the 5-foot width of the concrete, and that's it?
No, we'll go back, what, 17 feet?
No,
There was a drawing that submitted.
Yeah.
Did you bring up the other drawing you had that, or maybe this is what that's showing?
yeah, that shows
So
it
this
right
is what
there.
they're proposing.
So-
Okay.
The hatched area with the square hatch on it, that is currently what we have proposed to be reconstructed as concrete.
Okay.
We were looking at rebuilding that next 75 feet with improved aggregate base, which we can grade so that it stays in place a lot
Because it
longer.
drains properly?
It drains better. As Mr. Alderman said, we'd be willing to put in an additional drain there to grab the water at the property line and take it back in so it's not running out on Main
Somewhere on
Street.
that side, if I recall, as a kid, a long time ago, don't laugh at me.
It was just a few years ago.
There's a catch basin.
There may be, I think it's buried or gone. It didn't show up on the survey that we did.
Okay. But I think there's a catch basin somewhere near the tracks.
Okay.
'Cause I know there's a hydrant there.
Yeah, there's a hydrant there, yes.
And I'm almost sure there's a catch basin somewhere in that area.
It's not uncommon for those things to get buried over time.
So the red rectangle is where the sidewalk is.
Correct.
That's what they're showing, and they're proposing to repave that sidewalk and also this area only, which is maybe another 20 feet. Right now, this is showing as gravel, but like I said, that this may be paved, so they're proposing a 75-foot only from the right-of-way into the property.
Well, that's what I wanted to be clear about, because I was getting a little confused. So are you talking about that being gravel, or are you talking about that being paved, concrete?
Well, we would prefer it to be a heavy-duty gravel for maintenance, longevity, with the way that Mr. Alderman uses the property. But in deference to the ordinance, if that's our only path forward, we could consider paving some of that as well.
So basically this area, that's it.
Yeah.
Now, you just said.
You said back to the fence.
Yeah, we said that.
We did talk from the right-of-way to the
I just
fence.
heard
so-
17 feet.
The 17-foot distance is from the right-of-way line to the edge of the current roadway pavement.
Okay, that's the 17.
That's the distance.
And the drawing had 75
Had
feet. That
75
was the
feet.
rebuild of the gravel.
And then the verbal discussion that we were having is what you had originally suggested, which is coming forward from the existing gate to the roadway.
What's the distance from the gate to the roadway?
I think it's about 120 feet.
From the gate? No,
Yeah.
it's several hundred feet. You're talking about,
From the first gate.
From the first gate, not the new one, but the one that's existing.
oh,
There near the entry.
And the equipment is being loaded and unloaded just past where that apron is gonna end?
So, yeah, some equipment is loaded in that front area, as Mr. Alderman said. And that is about, it's about 200 feet based on the survey here.
You're
This is
not
the
able
first
to
gate.
load or unload back by, there's a building there?
I believe he is able to do it. Logistically, it sometimes makes sense to do a transfer close to the road rather than driving all the way back and coming all the way back forward.
the first gate is 200 feet away from the sidewalk.
I'm sorry?
The first gate is about 200 feet from the sidewalk. The second gate is somewhere
Yeah.
here.
I thought the second gate was removed.
We are removing that second gate. We have done that. I have not yet submitted a set of plans formally to the village with that. We were proposing a second gate to be installed right where the culvert crossing of the drain is. But we are now removing that, yes. So that gate is no longer part of our plan. We're not installing that.
If I remember correctly, it wasn't wide enough, right?
Right. We couldn't put an adequate gate there for a fire truck.
personally I'm torn on this. That's, you know, I can definitely appreciate the logistics of it, you know, that the track vehicle, you know, being tearing up the concrete if it was on a paved surface. And, you know, it sounds like Shoreline Steel is using that easement a lot more than you are. You know, but I think we do have, you know, to Trustee Bonkowski's point, we do have a standard that we do have to consider. And I mean, this is something that we are hoping eventually Main Street is going to see some development. You know, do we want the first, you know, well, one of the first properties as they're driving into downtown or coming to the railroad tracks? You know, it's a gravel driveway, or do we want it to be a paved driveway? Or for what distance?
We just have to decide what is our standard, and we have to start to stick with it and start enforcing that.
Well, I mean, this right here, what they're proposing is a definite improvement. It doesn't go as far as I would like for it to go. I have no concerns about the back portion and the drive to the back portion. It's just that Main Street frontage that I would hope that they would see what we're saying and maybe extend the concrete or some surface.
That's kind of where I'm at too. I'm not concerned about it inside the property, but up in the front, at least pave a section of beyond the sidewalk.
If I went out there and if I laid down 10 times, and if you could pave that amount, you know, that would come to about 70 feet in.
Right. Yeah, and I do have 75 feet marked out on that plan.
So the 75 feet that you are gonna do a different type of gravel, maybe we can pave that 75 feet?
As a compromise, I think that would be acceptable, if that would be acceptable to you.
So let me clarify a couple of things.
Beyond the sidewalk, you have 75 feet of that going into the property, that they wanted to do a better gravel that would be more sustainable, but if we concrete that instead of that gravel, that's 75 feet.
So 75 feet is selected by the design engineer. There's no rule.
No, I'm just saying.
The rule here, the village rule is to pave it all the way to the parking lot, which is 1,000 feet. They're proposing 75 feet.
Right.
And let me clarify a couple of things. The parking area, needs to be paved in accordance with the village standards. They're requesting a waiver because the type of business that they'll be using, it will destroy that parking lot.
Turn it into
Exactly. And for a contractor yard, like a Kmart yard, the backyard, for heavy equipment and machinery, it will get destroyed. So it does not make sense. For the driveway is a different story. The driveway in this case, it's 1,000 feet long. And they are proposing only the first 75 feet of that driveway to be paved. Well, not be paved, but heavier aggregate.
Well, so I think that was their proposal, is that the 75 feet is heavier aggregate, but what Trustee Hashem is saying is, you know, maybe the village's compromises, instead of that being heavy aggregate, that it's paved.
And again, there should be a reason where that 75 feet is coming from.
Right.
Normally it's all the way to the parking lot, or to a gate, or to a something.
How many feet is it to the gate?
That first gate is a little over 200 feet.
But I guess my question to Submit is,
Yes, sir.
they're here requesting a waiver, and right now we're just actively negotiating. Okay, so let's not be opposed to 75 feet if we can get 75 feet out of them. And if we can't get to 75 feet, I would at least like to see a stone that doesn't, doesn't drag out the mud onto Main Street.
It will.
Okay, something that's very cleaner.
It will.
No, it won't, not with the drain.
It will. No matter what you do with stone, it will get dragged to Main
You know, it's zone heavy industrial.
Heavy industrial, it means a 9-inch concrete pavement.
Yes.
Not gravel.
If you want to go 1,000 feet back, you put
I'm
me on
not
business,
saying
bro.
that. I'm just clarifying to this council, what are the requirements?
But it's not
Up to
visible from Main
council to
Street.
leave
Past
all
that
the
fence, you can't see from Main Street past that
Address
road.
the council, please. Just-
I was addressing you, because you're the one that's contending me.
Can the fence be moved to the 75-foot mark? Can the fence be moved up to
Yeah,
the
the fence be
75-foot
moved.
No,
mark?
that's shoreline fence, isn't it?
No, I think the fence is actually on Mr. Alderman's property
Yeah,
there.
the gate is, yeah.
So we could move that. The drive widens as you move closer to Main Street from where the gate currently is. So we'd have a much bigger gate. Isn't really very effective to do that. Going back to the discussion of concrete versus aggregate, if the big concern is erosion, bringing dirt out onto Main Street, when we're talking about a standard soil erosion permit, usually the Macomb County standard is to have something like a mud mat of 100 feet long. And that's generally considered, with other good housekeeping practices, sufficient to keep construction traffic mud from being dragged out too much onto the right-of-way. So if we have that distance of concrete, that should help dramatically with the amount of dirt and debris that gets dragged out there. Would some get dragged out over time? Sure. But if Mr. Alderman is willing to commit to being a good neighbor and employing good housekeeping standards and sweeping the apron, let's keep it clean.
Did I hear
That
correctly?
apron would then extend to the gate?
Well, 100 feet would not get it to the gate, but 200 feet would.
Do we extend, so do we do the 100 feet and then would we be able to move the gate up to that 100 feet and then just fence?
We could move the gate up, yeah, it would wind up being a very big gate.
Just a comment about the solar erosion permit. That's a temporary construction permit by Macomb County, and that's only for the construction period of the project. After that, it gets cleared, it gets released, and there's no monitoring of that.
Right.
So if you want to keep a solar erosion permit active for the entire life of the business, that's a different story. But those measures are removed after the construction is complete.
Right. Yeah, I was only bringing that up as a design parameter, and that is the length that engineers have found over time is a pretty good distance to get debris off vehicle tires before it goes out on the main roadway. I wasn't suggesting that we employ SESC measures permanently. I was just offering you a distance that has some basis in engineering.
And unfortunately, while you guys may be good neighbors, we still got the truck traffic coming out of Shoreline.
Yes.
And their yard is not, it's gonna drag.
Yes, that is correct. We're not offering to do anything with the shoreline curb cut.
Right. Yeah. This would definitely be an improvement, Maybe at some point we need to address Shoreline and call them on the carpet and see if they can do something, because the ground around their buildings is just a mud pit, more or less.
Well, that would require something that would trigger a site review, though, right?
I'm sorry.
That would be something that would have to trigger a site review to do that, right?
Yeah, with Shoreline.
Yeah.
And I don't know what we could do to trigger that conversation, except just approaching them and saying, look, these people are trying to do the right thing. And if you guys could buy in and, just to keep the Main Street clean and keep the garbage from being, trapped out on the Main Street, and they may have that conversation. They may listen, because at one point they were proposing a new office building on Main Street. And I think when COVID hit, that all went away and whatnot. But, they may be willing to, invest, because that's my biggest headache. Besides the two properties that we just talked about that need to be demolished, that driveway is my third pain.
Well, yeah, But for this specifically, I'd like to see concrete going back further than just the sidewalk.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For that reason. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest point of contention for me. You know, as everybody's kind of alluded to, the back parking area I'm not concerned with. And the other waivers are all tied in with, well, mostly tied in with the back part of it, right? Is that if you have a complete paved parking lot, then that comes with the curb and gutters, and that comes with the storm, storm retention. Which if that back portion is gravel, I'm okay with those other two waivers, but it's just that driveway.
Right, the approach, that whole front portion, and that's what people are gonna see. And
Well, and all of that needs cleaned up. I mean, that would all have to be seeded and mulched and groomed properly.
It's not part of the request we're making tonight, but just so you know, part of our site plan improvement does include cleaning that area up and doing some nice landscaping here by the entrance.
Yeah, we didn't receive that information,
Understood.
so.
Just so you know.
Just point of order, we're just trying to state what the requirements are. I mean, it's up to council if they offer cardboard for a bid. We're just stating what the requirements are. It's up to council to approve or not, how far, what material. Of course, the gravel needs to sustain fire trucks. So in our letter, we said if the waiver is granted by council, the pavement does need to be designed by a professional geotechnical engineer to withstand all that loading. For the drainage, if council is going to approve a short pavement, we would like that to be addressed. So we don't want to waive the entire storm improvement because, as Trustee Lewin said, this area has always been a drainage problem. So we would like to see that fixed also.
The drain tile along wherever the gravel starts.
Some storm sewer, we think there's a catch basin somewhere here, they can find it. They
If
can
there's
put
an
some edge
existing
drain
catch
and
basin,
some
we
drainage
can
structures
put a drain
to
in.
take care of it.
Yeah, if we're putting in pavement for a certain length, we can curve that, make sure everything drains away from the road, and then, goes into the drain.
We have a distance in mind. I think the last figure I heard was 100 feet.
Now, is that 100 feet in addition to the 17? So 100 feet of drive?
Yes,
Sidewalk?
that would be 100 feet from the property line inward, so that's besides the 17 feet that we would need to do to connect the drive to the existing roadway.
I'm just waiting to have one like this.
Sorry, I thought you.
I mean, you're spending his money, I want to make sure that
I just want you guys to know I'm not building anything back there. All I'm doing is storing my heavy equipment. I bought that because I was leasing between Home Depot and Tim Hortons, and they were selling that property. And I was back there for 25 years, and they said, you got to go, we're selling. And I was in a hurry. I was desperate. I had no place for my cranks, my heavy equipment. And Frank Richter, that previously owned this property, sold it to me a couple of years ago. And if I knew I was getting into all this, I never would have bought it, because this is major. So what do they say, 117
Yeah.
feet by Hawaii? 90?
No, I think you're about 40, 50 feet wide there.
50? So that's like $300,000. I'm gonna have to sell the property. I was hoping to be neighborly, which I will be, but I'll have to. All right.
That's all I had to say.
What was the width that we were saying?
Well, it's 2 lanes wide up there, so, let's see here. And the width of the property up there at the street is 94 feet, so that drive has got to be about 40 45 feet wide there.
If you are reconstructing it, does it need to be that width?
No, wouldn't necessarily have to be.
So lane required by the fire department is 26 feet wide.
Right.
So
Yeah.
we've seen 26, we've seen 24 feet, 2 lane, 12 feet, 12 lane, 12 foot each.
Yeah, so if we shrank it down to 26, that would reduce the impact.
He probably wants to.
Yeah. Hey, Mr. Alderman?
Yes.
So one of the thoughts was, how wide does the drive actually need to be? If you're reconstructing it and paving it, does it need to be the 40-foot wide?
To accommodate me? No, but shoreline steel,
Well,
Do they need that width?
they have whatever access you give them.
because they're not going in half or nothing.
No,
They
the
made that
easement doesn't specify how much room they're supposed to get, just that they have room.
Well, that would be a better question for you, for us
So-
to get a semi in there, because I moved from.
Yeah, so we could easily go down to whatever the
Is
minimum
that
is,
be-
which I think is 26 feet.
I think that'd be too narrow, to be honest.
Okay.
So for commercial or?
30 feet, yeah, 30 feet would still be less width than what we're showing on here right now,
Okay.
so it'd be a smaller area.
Okay.
So it might not be quite as costly as.
I'd still like to clean up that whole front,
Yeah.
because if you look where the little map is, on the bottom left,
Mhm.
there is, I don't know if it's a catch basin, but there's a steel, I'm not an underground guy, but there's a steel cover there.
Something over there.
But it's solid, it's not, you know,
Right,
but it's right about where that is.
right.
Yeah, I mean, if we narrowed the driveway to 30 feet, you're saying that's what is the standard for commercial?
Right,
30 feet for commercial.
yeah,
Industrial maybe a little bit more, but 30 feet
yeah.
Would that?
at the opening.
We are trying to
Oh, I
negotiate and
understand,
compromise.
I understand, I'm sorry I got upset.
No, it's
I
okay.
take this personally.
Yeah, I can definitely understand how frustrating
If
it
I was
is.
40 years old, I'd say do whatever you want.
Yeah.
No.
Um,
But yeah, that's something.
And then, with the narrowing, then it would just be, landscaping improvements to make up the
Right.
difference.
Right.
And I'm open, you guys can hit me up anytime, I'll do whatever you guys want. We'll keep the roads clean, plant whatever you want us to plant.
So we said 30 by
30 by 100
Yeah,
of paving past the sidewalk. And then some sort of stormwater drainage.
for the paved area.
Yeah.
You'll design all that for me?
Mr. Mather, are you feeling, I know you're more in the absolutes of what the ordinance is.
I can only cite them.
Okay.
It's up to council to waive or not waive.
Sure.
And I respect that, sorry I got online earlier.
Is everybody feel
Okay,
comfortable?
what about curb? Is that necessary?
For the paved
So the
area.
curb is triggered by the pavement.
Right.
If you're waiving the pavement in the back, there's no need for the curbs.
Right.
So they're tied together.
So, yeah, the area we're talking about concreting would have curbs on it.
Okay.
And the same thing for the storm and detention.
Right.
If you're not requiring pavement, aggregate, a lot easier than just a hard surface, so you don't need to require the detention and the storm system.
So I think then the motion would be, if I can summarize this, for requested waiver number 1, it would be for paving of the apron, sidewalk, and 100 feet of concrete behind the sidewalk. For waiver number 2, curbing only of the concreted section. And waiver number 3, it sounds like the request would be granted, or the motion would be to grant.
Well, for 3, we would.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at what I.
Waiver.
Yeah, it would be waiver number 4, yeah. The third of the 3 waivers that we would grant, waiver number 4.
So you're granting 1, 2, a modification of 3 and 4. You're granting 1, 2, and 4, and a modification of 3 for the approach.
Oh, yes. Yes, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, the driveway portion is through.
Yeah, okay, I see what you're saying, sorry. So yeah, so granting 1, granting 2, modifying number 3 to be a 30-foot wide by 100 past the concrete, or past the sidewalk,
Including some
Including
drainage.
drainage,
Improvement.
curbing, and then granting number 4.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to that effect.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we make a motion to that effect.
But would 4 just not be applicable
Correct.
versus
because it's not-
granted? Yeah, that needs to be stated, I think.
I think you need to state what the actual motion is.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I will make a motion that we are going to grant number 1. On number 2,
Let me state it for you.
yes, please go.
So the motion is to waive the requirement for the parking lot pavement in the back area to remain as gravel, subject to a design that withstand the fire access. Granting a waiver for request number 2, deleting the curb and gutter requirement for the same area. That's number 2. And to jump to number 4, without pavement, the requirement for storm detention and storm system is hereby granted, because there's no paving is proposed. For number 3, you're modifying this and granting an approval for a paved approach, 9-inch concrete, 30 feet wide, 100 feet in, with drainage and storm improvement. Am I correct?
And curbing.
And curbing.
And curb.
Yeah. You have all that clear?
Sure. Who made that motion?
Trustee Dilbert,
Who seconded that motion?
supported by trustee.
Mr. Dilbert?
Did I have that backwards? Trustee Dilbert and trustee Bankowski. One or the other. Any further discussion on the motion? All right. I just want to say thank you guys for coming here tonight and allowing us to negotiate openly while we try to come up with what we, is the best compromise for both the village and for you, as possible.
Thank you for compromising.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So with that, roll call.
Trustee Bankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
President Meisen?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Item number B on the agenda, it was pointed out to us that the November meeting falls directly onto Veterans Day. Village office is closed. Do we want to move the date of the meeting, or do we want to have it on Veterans Day? It's just an open question. I mean, we can, everything is due November 1st. I'll do my best to make November 1st with my items, but it's only just the day of the meeting that the village office is closed.
I'm off work that day, so I know.
I say keep it where the way it is.
I think I'm off work that day too.
Are you?
You were off work today, right?
Check your
All right.
calendar, make sure.
Fair enough, yeah. November 11th is what is published, so we'll just maintain November 11th. Just wanted to make sure that there was no problems with that.
Oh, yeah. All right, 11 is good.
Okay. Item number C, tax overpayments. Here we have, that's talking through this.
Would you like me to take care of that as anything?
Please.
What we're asking is to be approved for all the overpayments that happen during tax season. What happens is that we have mortgage companies and residents paying, and sometimes they don't know if the mortgage company pays their taxes, and so there's overpayment on their taxes, and we have to give it back. So what we're asking for is $16,827.44 to be returned to the residents. There was a list in your packet that shows all the people, all the personals that the money would be going back to. Any questions?
I'll move to refund tax overpayments in the amount of $16,827.44 to the parcels listed.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we refund the overpayment of $16,827.44 to the residents. Any further discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Nettle? Yes. Trustee Dombrowski?
Yes.
Trustee Rivera?
Yes.
Trustee Noah?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
President Mason?
Yes. Thank you. Next item number D, we have the key scan security system, Chief Sear and Ms. Gazel.
Good evening. In front of you, you have a quote from Dyke Security to install some new keypads for the two fire department doors that were will be recently replaced. In talking with Dyke, we started the conversation about security doors throughout the entire building. So in front of you have a 4 and an 8 what we call power supply that would be able to open and close and lock 8 different doors. In the beginning, we will do 4, right? So 2 on the FT side, 2 on the office side, with the anticipation of eventually the police department will have their doors, which is another 3 over there. It's a cheaper upfront cost now if we do it this year, knowing that that's all going to have to get replaced eventually anyway. But it will be a cheaper upfront cost for us now, and Dyke would do all of the install. There is a cloud service. There is a I don't know if it's like an NVR type service for if we just want to have it in-house and not on the cloud. That would dictate the price going forward through here. On the invoice, you can see where it says the upgrade to the 8 panels, $13,1884. The cloud service would be $7.50 per door. So right off the get-go, it would be $30 a month for the 4 doors that we would have, and then move to $60 once that's police department would be finished.
Yeah, and one of the things I did mention the Chief Steer. So the quote itself, it does say option for cloud services would reduce the quote by $1,500. So that's why you see with the 2 prices there, for the 4-door and the 8-door, the reduced pricing if they go with cloud. But then you do have the monthly service fee. And by my estimate, if I did my math correctly, that's like 25 months worth of cloud fees, and then you're at your $1,500. Yeah, 25 months. If we do go with the 8-door reader, $60 a month, 25 months, you're at your $1,500. So 2 years in, and now you're paying more per month to keep the cloud service compared to on-site. Now I don't know if there's did they mention? I mean, is there a benefit of going with cloud over the?
So to tell you what the difference between cloud is the cloud would allow us to currently we have the ability to arm and disarm the alarms now via an app. So the cloud service would be something similar to that, where we'd be able to lock and unlock the doors in event of emergency, right? Life safety, where we were. I think this is how it works, right? Push a button, locks all the doors, doesn't allow anybody in, doesn't allow anybody out. So it'd be kind of like what we're really kind of going after is the life safety aspect of it, where if there was some sort of event in the nearby or even in the building, we would be able to lock down the building and basically would disable the door lock. So even if you had it, you wouldn't be able to, even if you had a key card, you still wouldn't be able to enter.
So what he had said is also, if we took the card and if there was a disturbance around here, we just have to take the card or 1, 2, 3, hit the panel and lock us all down. let nobody in the building and stuff like that. With the cloud, we don't have to be on site to unlock and lock the doors too. That's another feature with having a cloud. Right now, we don't have that capability. He is having a lot of traffic on his side right now that he cannot control with the sheriff department that's coming in and out right now because of our condemnation problem over here on the other side. And with this system, we'll be able to control who comes in and out and give them access to the building who can't have access to the building. We have the Lennox Township sheriffs coming in using bathrooms over there, and all sorts of hours of the night and stuff like that, and he has no control of people coming in and out of the building right now. So with this being said, with the closeness of like the Grand Lake Grand Lake, yes, church thing that happened with stuff like that going around, it's getting closer and closer to home. Only defense that us girls has up front, we don't have any bulletproof or nothing like that. We don't have safety. We have those keypads over there, and I've made a policy to make sure they're closed at all times. But still, I mean, people are coming in and out, know our codes and stuff like that, and we have no defense against anybody coming in here and giving us any problems. So with this system, at least we would have at least a two-part thing. We still would have the alarm that we would have to offset with a code, but we'd also have the cards also. So we have a two-part set that we would have safety in the building.
And then I think you guys mentioned it, but maybe it wasn't explicitly mentioned. So this would allow us for like the employees that actually would have a key card.
Correct.
A key card and or a code, right? Because I think it's only 50, right? So they give us 50 cards or individual codes. So what that also does is that it allows us to know who's coming and who's going, right? So you know who's coming to the office at 1 hour a day.
We do have that capability on our side with the alarm. He doesn't because his alarm is never set, and it's always off, and it has been used in a long time. This way will give you more security over on his side also.
So between the two, my understanding, I mean, the recommendation ultimately is to go with the 8-door eventually. If we were to go with the 8-door tonight, how does that work with like the police department side? Would they just wouldn't do the install right away?
No, it would be additional cost down the road, of course, but with the 8-door panel, it's just like putting a port up for your phones or something like that. We're just putting the capability of us being able to add additions to it. That's all that's all we're trying to get right now.
I think it's a box, like an Ethernet box.
Right.
Which you can plug in everything.
Right. Just like a phone.
Yeah, kind of like the NVR for the cameras, so 8 ports or 4 ports or 16.
So
if we do the 4 now, to do 4 more later would be like.
It would be that.
Install.
it would be
At
9,000 again.
So for an extra,
The 8, but don't use all 8 yet.
Correct.
right, so for an extra,
Have
what,
it handy.
$1,300, you can go with a full 8.
And what pot will this come out of?
It's fine.
No, the general.
General fund.
General fund?
It'll be
Okay.
general fund.
Thoughts on the cloud versus the?
What do you guys recommend on that? Because you're using it, so.
I recommend cloud.
I think we agree on the cloud. It just gives us a little bit more, access and control over the building as a whole.
I will make a motion to engage with Dyke, correct? For the 8-door reader with cloud services for $9,050.99 plus $60 for the service fee a month.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we move forward with Dyke Services for the 8-door reader, $9,050.99 plus the $60 service fee a month. Further discussion on the motion?
I just have one question.
Sure.
Is this the only bid you got?
Yes, because this is our security system. This is our security.
Current security system?
Yep, they're the ones that provide us the service currently, yes.
Okay. which I know in the past hasn't been the best thing on the market.
I can't speak
I can't either, with dark security.
Yes, I mean, you have shared with me over the years some issues with Dyke.
Not Dyke, the other one that we have, Guardian.
Okay, so Dyke is not the original?
No, no.
Okay.
The owner of the building had Guardian here. The owner of the building had Guardian here.
Okay.
We always had to constantly go through them, Phoenix contracting, to get things updated and around stuff like that.
Okay, so
This
it's
is
been
totally
changed
versus-
since
yeah,
the original.
yeah.
Okay.
Yes, we have an app and everything else that we can connect and add people, delete people and stuff like that. And it hasn't had a problem. And it works.
Yeah, and I'm assuming that there's probably some tie-in with the alarm system. Bless you. Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Pankowski?
Yes.
Trustee Burkholder?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero?
Yes.
Trustee Gilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nolan?
Yes.
Trustee Hatcham?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Next up is item number E, annual information statement. Ms. Hazel? Thought you were getting away from us.
Sit down here.
This is just an informational thing for you guys to have. Every year, we have to report to, it's called EMMA, it's the state of Michigan. And we have to do this because we have all those bonds in place. And actually, it's a really good piece of tool for all of us, because if you look at it, it tells us what our last 10 years of state equalized valuations look like for the taxes, our population, what are we getting for our real property, who our major taxpayers are. And if you look at the major taxpayers, that Gratiot 26 Mile Road is actually McDonald's, so they're one of the biggest taxpayers in the village. It shows us the tax rates for the operating and voted and what we pay every year. It also tells our tax levies and everything that we have collected for prior years. It tells us what kind of our employee groups are for our unions. It tells you the general fund balance, and it tells you how much we pay for our retirement plans, total compensation for what we pay for retirement for our employees. So this is a very good tool for everybody. Also, another two major employers, Newman Community Schools is our biggest employer, McDonald's is second. So it's a very informational thing that is a one-piece informational tool that we can use to let people know what's going on. Also, too, we have to report what our debt is for our bonds. And I had this really good tool that I had. Mario wanted the bonds one time, so I gave that information. So, and it gives a schedule of our bond maturities. So it's just a tool that we have to, that I have, it's called Benzinski and Sons, that they do for us every year, and it was just a good informational tool to share with the council.
Sadly, I see for the top 10 top tax payers in the village, we are number 7.
We are one of them.
The joys of not owning your property. All right, so that was just informational?
Yes.
Perfect, okay, thank you. All right, next up, we have item number F, request for 2 full-time DPW employees.
Yeah.
Superintendent Gilbert with your glasses.
Yeah, I could not see it all.
Your arm's not long enough.
No. Good evening. So, I've put off trying to hire extra help as long as I could. It's the time to bring it forth, and I'm asking for 2 hires, one immediately, and a current employee who's a seasonal worker, and the second one I will go through the whole interview process, the posting, the interview, and all of that process. Just a little background. Me and short staff, so it was like last week, I think, talking to Brian, or President Heisel, I'm sorry. No, we talk like that. 2 guys called in, what I had planned to get done. Pretty simple. In doing so, I will no longer hire seasonal help. Seasonal help is done. Even though they help, they're getting smarter. They learn, oh, okay, on Friday we're gonna be in the cemetery. So what they do, they call in. They have nothing to lose. A full-time worker does. A seasonal worker, they can care less. Oh, I'm not gonna go sweat on Friday. So from here on out, I'm not hiring seasonal help. 2 full-timers, that's what we'll work with. We'll be able to do all these things. Also, we can bring, like, for instance, the fountain right now is approximately $10,000 a year that we pay out to maintain, because we don't have the time. $10,000 a year. Open, close, chemicals, and maintenance. Bring that back in-house. That's 10 grand that we save. Takes 2 to 3 hours a week to maintain the fountain. We haven't had time to do that, so we had to hire it out. We're adding in more music in the park, slow rolls, red, hot, and blue. We need coverage for those things. We had an emergency. I had to have one of the seasonal guys who I'm bringing forward to hire him full time, hopefully. He had to do a 24-hour shift for me. Seasonal employee. I had already worked at 12 to 24. He works at 24 for seasonal. A full-timer was off on vacation. Another one had something to do. Another one had something to do. Well, who am I left with? I need coverage. Emergencies, you know, you can call out 4 guys. Did you get a response? You may not. And in saying that, I'm going to implement a on-call system. I have to. It's been getting to the point where I tried to save money. I tried to, penny pinch and not hire guys for long enough, but it's there now. It's there. We've already approached our working hours with hours worked, overtime, vacation time, or time off. We've already approached it, and we still have time to go. Just to give you background, that some of you don't know, we take care of the cemetery, roads, water, sewer, building, equipment maintenance, all the meter replacements and/or readings, which is incorporated with water, parks. We maintain them all, we cut them off during the summer. President Meisen will tell you in our meetings, what did you do? We cut grass. So I'm taking 4 full-timers just for that. A week. 4 days, hydrants. Right now we're doing hydrants. Chief Steer and I, trying to get our ISO ratings good and things of that sort. We have over 300 hydrants to do. So we're okay, go hit the hydrants. Okay, well, we got this to do. Okay, come off the hydrants. Okay, go hit the hydrants. So it's a juggling act. Things come up, so I have to pull guys off of things that would normally just get done. And could possibly get done. Guys are taking time off. We were spoiled with guys not taking time off. I haven't taken a vacation day. I've taken some sick time, but I can't. Just can't. Gotta have coverage, and guess what? I'm the guy who has to cover those guys who call in, or those guys who take a week off, or take 3 days off, or whatnot. Let's see here. Got all that. I'm going through everything because I just want to put everything out there for you guys. The hiring process. I'm looking for around the first of the year. If the hiring process is done for a second person sooner, then But I want to hire the second person. The first person tonight, the second person. So when snow falls, we can start training. In the past, including myself, we put 16-hour days and then we're walking around like zombies. Because, and I think we do a dang good job on the streets. But it's coming to a time where you're out there and you're plowing and you start to see the twilight zone and things like that. That's dangerous. That's dangerous. It's starting to become an issue. Let's see here.
Yeah, so we have the two documents, I know Marcus is looking at both of them right now.
Yes.
So there is the sheet here that is before everybody that was printed off from Ms. Hazel, just showing that year-to-date, calendar year-to-date, the DPW is already at just under 9,500 hours for the year. For 2024, in the packet, there's the hours analysis. 2024 number of hours they had was 12,388. And so if you were to do just purely an analysis of the number of hours versus the number of guys they have and how many workable hours they have, taking the number of hours and dividing it from the 12,787, it comes to a recommendation of 6.15 full-time employees to accommodate those 2024 hours. So we have a seasonal worker.
No, you're good.
We have a seasonal worker right now that has been doing an impeccable job.
Yes.
He's been a real go-getter. I see that myself just from what I've seen over the Parks and Rec and activities and whatnot. And he's out there doing a really good job. So I think it would be a benefit to bring him on as full-time. He's expressed the interest in such. And then the additional full-time employee to help with coverage and succession and so on and so forth with all the guys that they have in the DPW.
And this seasonal worker isn't one of those I was talking about, just to let you know. All right? So,
How many current full-time do you have?
4 and then me, so 5. So, but I counted as 4 and then myself managerial. So
Okay, so not counting you have 4, and then you want to make it 6?
yes.
Okay. How much are we saving not doing seasonal anymore? What did we budget for that one now?
I think we've been doing between 1,500 and 2,000 hours
Yeah.
for seasonal. Depends on the year. What we
Dollars, that-
35,000. Yeah, 35,000.
And how much money did you say we were going to bring back from doing things ourselves?
Like right now with the fountain will probably be 10 grand. And then I'm gonna look into some other instances. Sometimes we have some of these other those things that we have to hire out. So if we get these guys, we have the time and resources that we can do some of this stuff. Maybe we can build some catch basins. We might be able to build. We won't be able to build 10 of them, but we might be able to, do something.
So some of the catch basins.
Maybe we'll do some of those. That's a possibility, but we have to make sure that our guys are trained properly in order to do those. I'm not just going to throw them out there to do them and say, all right, it's good, where we have professionals. Sidewalk replacement. If we do any sidewalk replacement, we're not going to do 200 feet, but we can do 2 slabs. We can do 5 slabs. We can, in front of this village hall, instead of hiring out, we could possibly do that. So there's little things that I'm gonna work on bringing back. Everything can't just go off home and do it. We're gonna make sure we do it the right way.
Yeah, you got to get trained.
Exactly, 100%.
You mentioned this call-in system. How's that going to work, like briefly?
On call, so for instance, I'm always on call. So I'll probably get a call from night security later on for a well house. It's pretty much like that. But you have your own call for a week. So therefore, call in Monday through Friday. Okay, you have music in the park tonight also. If you have slow roll, then we can have slow roll. Because there are ones who want to work them, but there are also ones that don't, also. You know?
Now, are those always overtime? Like, do they work their shift and then they do slow roll? Or when you have these additional employees, can you schedule like an afternoon shift to do, that's what they do slow roll that day?
I could possibly do that, but then you're taking away from your daily. It all depends on what's going on that day.
Yeah, I'm talking about like how we manage the staff.
Yeah.
That's something that we could do and that would cut down on overtime. Because if we're adding bodies, theoretically, we should be cutting down on some overtime too.
You should.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should or you could, but we also adding on more responsibility. So, you know, as soon as Decorah or Pembroke South gets done, more streets, more street maintenance. You know, everything. We're building, we're doing other things, and so I will be honest with you. Necessarily add more bodies doesn't. Yeah, it should cut down over time of overtime. So, for instance, we have a snowstorm tonight. Guys, you can't come in right now. We should be in, but we can't because we can only work 16 and then rules, we have to go home. So we would come in at 11, work till 7, work 7 to 3:30, so we had to cover during the day. Now I can stack it. You come in right now, 8 to midnight, whatever, 2. Go home, get a nap, come in at 7. The other guys work, stagger things. So, you will still have overtime, but, we can work it and try to get rid of some of it. But, we'll see how it goes. But it's like more of a stagger thing. Like the snowfall this past year, all of us were in. So it is what it is. So the next day, you're just zombie. You're done. Some guys, I gotta go home. I don't feel good, things of that sort where we can say, okay, they're gonna come in and they're gonna plow this snowstorm. You guys come in and work the day shift. They can go home at 7.
Yeah, instead of everyone working 8s and then overtime in snow.
100%.
Half of you working days, half of you working the snow.
Yep.
Kind of thing, so you don't have zombies.
100%. Yes.
Yep. Yeah, thankfully in the winter we have a little bit more flexibility because they're not having to juggle mowing lawns,
mowing
grass and all that.
The grass is crazy.
Yeah,
it's just been crazy and it's just a constant.
Well, that goes both ways because you don't have snowstorms in the summer, do they?
Well, that's what I mean, like in the summer, they're,
So say the summer, for instance, like President Mike's saying, if I got to put 4 guys in grass, okay, how can I do anything else about that? You can't. You can't. We finally found a period. We had to put an extra porta john out at the park because it was a busted pipe, but we had things to do, so we finally got to it. Instead of being able to just go get to it, because if I let this grass grow out here, it's on me. You guys are gonna be up there going. Okay, so the grass is the number one thing. Parks, everything, they have to look good. During the summer, there's no way around it. So if I got some extra hands to go do some extra things, we can get some extra things done. I want to still do all the shoulders. Hopefully it doesn't snow too quick, that's one of those things where the grass stunts that hopefully we can try to get in, but with extra people, we can get those done. Yes, ma'am.
I like the on-call thing, and I would like to see us add services if possible, but, and you will be by doing the repairs, that's adding services to our residents. They don't see, it's nothing tangible in their hands, but we're not outsourcing it. During the contract negotiations, a point of contention was vacation coverage. And you and I have talked about this being an issue. And I did talk to Mr. Mason about putting together some type of program. Were we able to do that yet?
we've talked
Or
about
practice.
putting, that there being like the beginning of the year that they need to like put in any planned vacation time. One of the things that Superintendent Gilbert mentioned was they have cases where, there used to be, how to say it, like you had your old reliable workers, not old, as in age. You had your reliable workers that, they didn't take a lot of vacation time.
Right.
Now they are taking vacation time.
Yeah.
So that's what we're seeing as a a complication.
But we talked about putting some type of practice in place so that they can plan for these vacations ahead of time, not just, I'm not coming in tomorrow and I'm using a vacation day. That's,
If I may?
Yes.
But that's the trick to it. That's vacation. Some of these guys have sick time coming through their ears because they can roll it over. You
Right.
can't plan a vacation day. They don't have to plan it 24 hours ahead of time. They can just call it sick. That's a lot of
right.
it too.
And that one did not change.
And, yeah, and that's.
I mean, you still
sick is sick.
I mean, even though they're probably not, but you still, I mean, you can't force them to use a sick day.
Right.
Yeah, you can't tell people you can't use a sick day. You can't. But, after 3, you gotta have a doctor's, and things of that sort. But, I have an employee who, it's not, we knew it was football season. Monday, he's not gonna be there. He's not. Am I right?
That's why it was
I
so
like the
tight.
idea, we're saving money from the seasonal. I like the idea of bringing work back. I'd like to see if we add these additional bodies to manage them better so that we do lower the time from it. I think then with those 3 things, then I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that's the plan. Like, I'm all about saving money. That's why I didn't ask. I probably should have asked 4 years ago. But it's come to the point, and I will work it because it allows me, my management, as far as management, I can finagle some ways of the coverage, even possible overlap. If you're working slow roll, maybe you come in at 11 instead of coming in at 7. Yeah.
So they should move the slow rolls to Monday during football season.
Yeah, so I'm with you 100%. I see exactly where you're coming from, and that's what the plan is. Yeah. Yeah, because there was instances, and honestly, thank God that the seasonal person, same path, but he stepped up that. So, for instance, like the overtime it would have been crazy, 24 hours. He worked his 8 hours, stayed over, and then worked with 3:30. It was emergency. It was, you know where I'm going with that, but I had to do what I had to do, and I was up also. I was checking pressures. I think it was 30 straight hours. Yeah, wasn't fun. But had a guy on vacation, another guy called in, and it was like, but I gotta make it work. And we did.
Yeah, that is the part we're thankful for.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
So you're looking for a motion. Does a dollar amount need to be attached to it?
The cost for one person, including benefits, is $73K, and for 2 is 146.
I would hesitate to put a cost on it just because there's overtime.
Yeah, you can.
Well, yeah, well, that's the
That's what I was
average
asking, do I
cost.
have to put an attachment to it?
No.
Yes.
So I'll make a motion to allow DPW to hire 2 full-time employees.
Second.
It's been moved and supported that we grant DPW Superintendent Gilbert the chance to hire 2 additional full-time employees. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, roll call.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Perpoli?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Hashem?
Yes.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Nona?
Yes.
President Bison?
Yes.
Can I just say one thing? And I'm just asking, I have to go get my daughter from the bus from volleyball. She's sitting outside, so can I be relieved? Okay, I'm just making sure. I don't want to walk out. That's rude and that's not cool to do. So I'm like,
Nope, you're good.
all right, thank you.
So now hopefully these 2 additional full-time employees, you can get a vacation out of them.
Yeah.
Or get them to pick your daughter up.
Yeah.
We want,
I'll just leave it at that.
I was in Florida for a week and I didn't get a vacation. Just put it that time. But Yeah. I will plan on it.
Item number G, Lions Club design plan quotes. So this one, first and foremost, I really want to thank trustee Nona for volunteering to help out with the Lions Club. It's been a thorn in my side that I know we need to keep this one progressing, but just having the ability to schedule all these different meetings and whatnot was just hard for me to do. So trustee Nona met with 2 additional companies. We first met with a contractor who actually also recommended that we go with a design plan so that it would be an apples to apples comparison once we do go with the contractors. We already had the EEW quote, and so we had the additional quotes from T-Fout and Associates and Design Team Plus. From there, I guess, Fred, did you want to talk through either of them? I mean, you were the one that really met with us.
We have 3 proposals, architectural design proposals for the Lions Club, which has been vacant for a lengthy period of time now, deteriorating, depreciating, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully, this information will determine, or at least give us options on how to proceed.
Yes. Short and sweet. Yeah, so we have the three quotes. We have the one that we already have from AEW. We have the Design Team Plus. That one was, so admittedly I reached out to them and asked about their original proposal. A lot of the items that are on this updated proposal that is attached in the packet were not originally there. It was for additional billable hours for different meetings. And when I expressed that, I was trying to come up with like, what is the total package cost? Then we get this updated fee schedule with a lot of new prices attached. Between all 3, the lowest proposal was T-Fout and Associates. From our understanding, they have a lot of engineering experience and background, and they would be able to provide our architectural design plans so that we could then move forward with, go into bid for contractors, applying for grants with the design plans. We would actually have something that we can then get our apples to apples bid.
President Mason, honestly, as President Mason and I discussed, all 3 are higher than I was expecting for, and I say this respectfully to anyone in that industry, for a piece of paper with drawings on it. Nevertheless, it seemed to be a requirement. Apologies again for anyone. Sir, sorry.
Not to any engineers.
Say that respectfully, or with all due respect.
But again, I'm a big proponent of using professional services because they are professionals, they're educated, they know what all the do's and don'ts and cans and canettes are available, so.
Agreed, it should be lower though. All 3 considering according to research that I provided with President Nice, anywhere from 2,000 to 17,000 estimated for a building, for a 3,500 square foot building. All 3 are higher than the average.
Yeah, and to Trustee Nona's point, I mean, that is kind of it's kind of the thorny part about this whole is that, for the most part, what we're looking to do is just to bring the building up to code, which any general contractor could do. I mean, it's not like it's, advanced work that we're asking. I mean, it's to redo the electrical, make sure the mechanical is good, make sure the HVAC is good. The trickiest part, I would say, is, the making the bathrooms ADA compliant. That's where the real, making sure that all of that is done correctly. And then the moving the warming kitchen to the club room. So it is a little bit of a, could we do this? I mean, could we get somebody to come in as a contractor and just do the work without having to do the design? Maybe, but if we do it this way, this does give us the opportunity of applying for grants. So it isn't just general fund funding.
Plus, we're also, if I'm not mistaken, aren't we considering making that a multi-use facility to make it convertible, so in case we may have to?
Yeah, I mean, so the discussion was to leave it open-ended as far as like the interior space. Going to be essentially a big open box with the exception of the bathrooms and moving the kitchen over into that club room. That leaves the whole area wide open. So yeah, if we do have to vacate a building or, if we need to convert it to something else, putting up temporary partitions or walls and stuff like that wouldn't be that difficult.
Do they have any references, this Fott and Associates?
I don't think that was included as part of the proposal they sent us.
They just provided a general design plan proposal.
Yeah. And there was some research of, looking them up on LinkedIn and all that fun stuff.
A motion in order?
Yep, motion's in order.
And I'll make a motion, unless Mr. Fred wants to do it.
Please.
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposal from T-Fought and Associate for the design services for the Lions Club interior in the amount of,
$19,400.
yeah, I got it somewhere. Yeah. $19,400.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we go with T-Fought Associates in the lump sum of $19,400 for the design plan work. Any further discussion on the motion?
I would like to see us get some references and maybe follow up on that.
Any further discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Dilbert?
Yes.
Trustee Hitchum? Yes. Trustee Nona?
Yes.
Trustee Bunkowski?
Yes.
Trustee Guerrero? Yes. Trustee Pertoli?
No.
And President Nelson?
Yes. Item number H is the streaming camera proposal. So I'm not necessarily asking for action unless council so chooses to do so, but I'm not asking for it. But one of the things that, I think we've kind of informally discussed over the years is how do we get more public engagement? As you can see, granted it is later in the evening, but our public engagement here at the meeting is down to 3 individuals in the audience. Thank you all for being here. But the thought was, back when we went through COVID and we had the virtual meetings, it's hard to argue that we did have an increase in engagement as far as viewing the meetings live while they're live streaming. This isn't a proposal to replace NEMIC TV. This is only a thought of an additional opportunity here where if we had kind of what I pictured in my head, you have a camera towards the back of the room that's aimed at the table and gets the broad view of the table. And then what I pictured is probably something above my head, somewhere around here, that's aimed down at a tighter view of the podium, and then having an overlay in the video, so that whether it's Clerk Whitsett or if we have Ms. Hazel or somebody or myself, somebody would have the ability to click the button and say, live stream this meeting. And it would go to YouTube and be available. People can watch it. We wouldn't be using it for public comment or any of that. This is just for viewership. to allow it to be viewed live. And then, you know, they would be able to watch the video feed. You know, depending on, talking, you know, have not had the negotiation or the discussion with Nemic TV, but, you know, maybe we provide them with the, you know, the camera footage from each of the meetings. The other thought is just, you know, we have additional meetings that we currently don't have Nemic TV present for. And sometimes when we have special meetings or schedule changes that don't always get communicated well to Nemic TV, then they're not here, then we don't have that video record. The thought is that if we had the cameras here and present, we're able to capture the stream, this would give us that opportunity. So all that said, this was just one of these thoughts that I had. I did reach out to VC3 as our current IT vendor, said, hey, is this something that you guys even have any experience with, any opportunity, any solutions that you would be able to provide? They did refer me over to a company that they work with here in Metro Detroit, that just talking to them about, as I did just now, going through, like, it'd be nice to have the two cameras, it'd be nice to have like a picture-in-picture overlay, so somebody watching would be able to see a tight view of the podium, whoever comes up to talk, and then you'd have the broader view of the council table as well. What their grand total for this live streaming service would be, with the two cameras, necessary equipment and everything, was $12,636. So I just wanted to bring this forward, having a quote. Is this something that you would even consider? Do you want me to go out and get additional quotes? Do you want me to reach out to other vendors? I see, Ms. Kazel, you had your hand raised.
I have a question. What does this do to the Open Meetings Act? To have a live stream?
I know there's other municipalities that live stream.
There's a lot that's real.
Brian, I mean, they can interact with us, it's just a view.
When you film a public meeting like this, you have to film it in its entirety. Like you said, you wouldn't get public comments, you wouldn't stream that or anything. You have to, someone FOIA's this meeting.
Sorry, no, I meant, when I said the public comment, I meant that we wouldn't watch the live stream for anybody commenting on it for public comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have
So
to
it would,
entirety.
the entirety of the meeting would be
It would not be
recorded.
interactive.
Right, it wouldn't be an interactive recording, it would, or a live stream, it would be for viewing purposes, was the thought.
Do you honestly think that enough people are gonna view it? I mean, they're really not interested around here.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, I
We're
mean.
talking about COVID, but nobody was working, everybody was home, they had nothing better to do. Everybody has a lot of better things to do, obviously, because we have the same people here every day.
And that's a good point, the meetings are recorded and posted on YouTube, and how many people actually watch them?
None.
Yeah, you see the views on there, there's like nothing, there's only probably us.
Yeah, I mean, one of the complaints that I did have from residents, and it's not knocking Nemic TV, but just that if they are trying to catch it, which, I mean, they are able to watch it on YouTube, so that's good. One resident conveyed to me that, you know, they watch Channel 6, and you never really know when the village's meeting is going to air. But I guess this doesn't really address that either, so.
The September meeting had 17 views, the August meeting had 25, the July had 7.
Not worth $12,000.
Yeah.
And personally, I appreciate these people who take the time to come out.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, it's always nice to see,
Same
you make me stay home.
Is it worth the investment?
Yeah. Yeah, admittedly, I didn't think about looking at what the viewership of the current YouTube videos were. I was just thinking it from the point of what we had during COVID. So, yeah, if you guys feel like the almost 1,000 here is too high, I'm perfectly fine with not moving forward with it. Just wanted to bring it forward as a
I
proposal.
think I've viewed this a couple times, just when I'm doing minutes.
I'm embarrassed to say how many times I've watched our own videos of our own meetings, because I have to keep going back and I know what some
Right,
of
so,
them
I say do not move forward.
Yeah. The only caveat I guess I would say, or maybe if council is amicable of like, you know, it would be nice just in the cases where like we don't schedule correctly with NEMIC TV or for the additional meetings, it would be nice if we had some sort of solution like Parks and Rec, for example. Parks and Rec meetings are not recorded at all.
But they're open to the public.
They are open to the public. Right, but it's the whole, it's just the,
They're still not gonna watch them. If they don't wanna be here to watch it, they're not gonna watch it on the TV.
okay, all right.
How many people are involved? We have the same problem in the HOA. Everyone wants to complain, but nobody wants to do anything.
Right. Okay, yeah, fair enough. We'll drop this one. I will drop this one. Okay. Moving on. Item number I, ZBA appointment. For those of you that read the packet in advance, we do have our ZBA applicant for appointment here in the audience. One of our active community members who does take the time out of his at least 2 weeks a month that he comes to our meetings. We see him at both council and planning every month. We did have 3 responses to the letter to the opening. One of them, unfortunately, was a Lennox Township resident, wasn't a member of New Haven. We did let them know, unfortunately, that we would have to respectfully decline on that. We had another applicant. They gave us their resume. There wasn't really any letter. Yeah, there wasn't really a letter to go with it, and their background really wasn't anything municipal. That said, I mean, my personal opinion, it's really hard to compete with somebody who actually is here engaged every single week, every month at our meetings. So somebody would have to have a pretty solid resume to really compete with that. So all said and done, I would be asking for council support to appoint Mr. Benoit, Matt Benoit, to the Zoning Board of Appeals. And oh, by the way, we have a meeting at the end of this month.
There'll be one next month as well.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported that we appoint Matt Benoit to the ZBA vacancy. Any further discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Last but not least, item number J. So this one, this is another one of those where I am bringing it forward just because we did have this request. I apologize that I did not forward this out ahead of time. We had a Lennox Township resident who came to the building department and did file a agenda item request. They are they're asking if they, as a Lennox resident, could purchase a cemetery plot at New Haven pricing, New Haven resident pricing. There's quite a difference between the two. When they first came in and I heard that they were asking for this, I wasn't thinking about how much of a difference there was. It was like, well, okay, put in an agenda request. At the very least, I feel like this is a decision of council, or not just a decision of one. That said, let me pull up the pricing real quick so I can give you the difference. There is a multiple $100 difference between Lennox resident pricing. So for grave purchase, for a New Haven resident is $575. For a non-resident, we set that to $1,380. So there is quite a difference there.
But that was done for a reason.
And it was, right.
That's right.
And so that's why I just
That's right.
wanted to at least be able to say, we did bring it to council, we did reaffirm that this is the pricing that we picked, so.
We offer non-resident pricing, so that's their option.
Okay, just wanted to make sure everybody's on the same page for that one. With that said, we go to call from the floor. Call from the floor. Everybody's quiet. Everybody wants to go home. Call from the table.
I only have one thing. I want to know if we can talk about setting budgets for Parks and Rec.
We're working on that.
You're working on that? Okay,
Yeah.
good. Before the fiscal year starts. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
so admittedly, that was one of the items that I had as work in progress for this meeting. I've
Okay.
been putting it together. So right now, one of the things that we were considering is adding in, what is the labor for DPW to be there? What's the labor for fire department involvement in our events? Now, it is still work in progress, but right now it's a very inflated and bloated estimate. Because I'm given the full price of like the smart buses, but because I don't want to put in the budget. Like I know we do have the $3,000-ish that Smart is going to refund us, but we don't know all the times that we'd be able to get like the Richmond Lennox shuttles versus having to use charter. So it would be an increase.
Which is fair, but
yeah.
that's a service that we're providing to our community, so that's
Right.
okay if we're spending.
Yeah, and some of that increase is directly, it's a direct result of resident feedback that they wanted to see the number of weeks for some of the summer programming expanded. So. Yes, sir.
Is there an update on the Christmas closing?
So we did just get attorney opinion on the Christmas, so it's not necessarily the closing, but the pay of it, yeah. So we do have attorney opinion to send the official letter onto the union, letting them know. We already have given them a verbal acknowledgement that I did not have the authority for the letter of letter of agreement, LOA. So they were doing some work on their end to do the research because he wasn't really familiar of what happens when you rescind an LOA. But we did also on our end, we had our attorney, the village attorney staff look through and give us a letter as well that we're going to send to the union. So it'll be formally sent over to them shortly.
Anyone else?
It's all you.
Yes, sir.
I hear there's been some activity on grant researching, so I'm gonna, because I've been doing some, and I was just talking to Fred earlier, and I realized that he did the research on the, yeah, and, let's just make sure that we don't get out of step as far as awarding contracts.
Exactly.
Once you award a contract, then there's no grants. It just takes you out of the grant running. And there are a number of grants out there, and some are 25% matching, some are 50% matching. There's some that you pay up front and they're reimbursements. There's a number of things out there that would apply to not only the Lions Club, but possibly a permanent stage for the park. So, I've just been doing some when I'm, I don't have much time off like Fred does, but. So when I'm sitting on the couch and I'm trying to stay out of the wife's there, I go online and start researching, but there's.
I see Fred all the time.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, that's what really unfortunately bit us in the butt with the playground, is that we were shovel ready, and the grants that were out there, you needed to go through a bidding process. So yeah, we want to make sure that we go through this the right way, that if we're going to get grant funding.
Follow the process.
Yeah, we follow the process. There's also resources that I've met through some of the workshops that I've been attending through MML that are very, very knowledgeable about grants and is going to, will be able to help us with that as well. And then we have the MI funding hub that the MML provides, which is a really good source as well, resource. Any other call from the table? Motion or? So.
Motion. Support.
Been moved and supported that we adjourn at 9:14.